Good morning. Thank you for watching my video today. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. I tend to part videos most Sunday mornings, and yeah, people seem to really like that Sunday morning upload. Get your coffee, get your bacon butty, and then get a little bit of a fishing fix if you're not out on the bank that weekend. Fantastic. Well, today I'm out carp fishing on my favourite big pit, and for once I've actually got a bit of time. I've got the week off. It's my birthday on Sunday. I'm turning the big 3-0, that's right, 30. So yeah, I've decided to treat myself, take the week off and do a good bit of fishing. Potentially I could even do 4 nights. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I've planned for 2. I can always pop home and get more supplies for a 3rd or a 4th. That's the club rules. You can do 4 nights and you can pop home if you need to, because there's no facilities here. So yeah, we understand if you need to take care of a call of nature, shall we say. But yeah, I wanted to be further down that way. The tench rolling, which often is a sign that carp are behind them, because carp aren't showing themselves much so far this year. I haven't seen big shows of fish like I have in the past. But there's an angler already set up down there and looking like it's probably caught, because he's got his mat and his sling and stuff all hung up drying. But with time on my side, I can set up here, keep an eye on that, and if needs be I can shoot down there. But I do actually quite fancy this swim as well, because yeah, the wind's going to cut up this way most of my session, well, pretty much all week. So, you know, inevitably some fish are going to follow this wind. Haven't really seen much out there, but I know there's some good spots, so I can just get on them quickly, small amount of bait for now, and just see what goes on elsewhere. Right, let's find those spots and get fishing. Okay, first rod going in, about 40 yards to the right here. One of my favourite hinge stiff rigs, because yeah, it's a firm spot, but when I was pulling back I was still tripping over a little bit of weed, which is fairly standard on here, so I tend to use a pop-up just to combat that. For a little bit of bait over top of it, and since I don't know if I'm gonna commit to this swim, I'm thinking just 3 or 4 mini spawns. So left hand rod about 60 yards over my shoulder here, again a pop-up rig with just a little bit of bait over it. Okay, there we go. Pretty happy with that. 2 rods out, and both went in first time. Only one spawn didn't open, and you know, isn't it just ironic, as Alanis would say, that you know, on a session when I've got all the time in the world, it all happens perfectly. But on my day sessions, it's like a mad rush, and it's just like nothing's opening. You're not hitting a clip, all that rubbish. But yeah, that went so well. So what I think I'm going to do now is just chill for a bit. Christ has risen down the bank there, so I'll be keeping my eye on him, seeing if he shoots off or not. Might still put the bivvy up, because we are due to get some bad weather. It doesn't look like it now, but yeah, we're gonna have quite a lot of wind and rain, so yeah, just have to keep an eye out for that as well. Okay, my man has wound in, so I'm just gonna walk down there now and just spend sort of 15-20 minutes looking. Oops, one. He caught last night, he caught a 24 pounder and said he lost one as well. I was just talking to another angler, JP, and he definitely saw some shows this morning, which I did as well. So yeah, we'll just stand there and see what we see. Okay, well, I've done the move. I'm in the spot. I've already found the areas I want to fish to. And if you watch my channel, it's the swim that I caught a fish from a few weeks back now, nice 18 pounder. So I'm just fishing to those spots again, because I know that they produce fish. And yeah, really happy to be here. Looks brilliant. I'll have to get my rod sorted, but you know, the fact that I've already been fishing up that way means that they're pretty much ready to go. So they'll get wanged out there, 2 in open water, 1 by the island, And yeah, we'll crack on. I'm buzzing now. I'm in a proper fish catching swim. I'm going to switch back to the mini spom for my left hand rod because I just want a small amount of bait over it, just a little trap down there up near the island. Well, fantastic, that's me set up. And just to recap, 2 rods out in open water on a spot I've caught fish from already this year, and 1 off to the left, kind of not against the island but just off it a bit. I think I'm round about the bottom of the shelf of the island, and that's just got a slightly higher pop up on because it's a little bit messier over there. Small amount of bait around it. And yeah, the weather's already turning a little bit. The clouds are coming in, although it's sunny right now, and the wind, that was the wind, is picking up. So I'm glad I've got the bivvy up. And one of the good things about having time is if it doesn't work here, you can always go back up that way. Okay, first tench of a trip, just a baby, but we'll get it out and look at it anyway. Look at that. I think hats off to this one, it's done well to survive. I think, yeah, must be otter damage, right? I can't see it being much else. Incredible little survivor. Let's get him back quick. Doesn't need me catching him for sure. We're into one. We're gonna have to go down the bank after it, I think. Well, I'm now well up the bank from where I hooked it. definitely. Got several nights at my disposal. I'll put one on the first day. This is incredible. Must remember to enjoy it. Just get so tense when I'm playing them, I just want them in the net. I'm gonna have to go back that way. Back where we started. To save on battery, I'm going to turn you guys off for a bit. I've now walked down the bank in the other direction. I'm about 80 yards from my swim. This is a good fish. The only way I've gained line on this fish by running after it. Okay, come on, we're gaining something now. One of the best bites I've had in a long time. Yes! That's a massive mirror. Still fighting in the net. Unbelievable. Come on! Who ate all the pies? Okay, scores on the doors. I think it must be over 20. Oh yeah. Comfortably. 22. $22.12 I'm going to give myself. Brilliant. We'll show you it. We'll have to get some pictures. Luckily it's been resting in net a while. One of the good things about filming that the fish end up having a bit of a rest in a net while I get everything sorted. $22.12. Get in on the first day. Oh man, that is brilliant. Oh God, you're gorgeous. Cheers, mate. Big scales, lovely wrinkling, proper old Yorkshire carp. Yes. Oh my God. There we go. That's the other side. Brilliant fish. Just super thick set, this one. Incredible. Brilliant orange tail in that sunshine. Oh, you are great. And no real mouth damage on this one, which is fantastic. No marks, escaping the predators. Oh, so many compliments for this fish. Right, a few pictures. Maybe a bit of antiseptic, the scale just floating there. We'll get it back. Oh, since I got the waders on, might as well get into this one. That's incredible. Still kicking. Oh, I'll just go then. Man, I love that. So I'm just sat here putting everything back together after that fish. Amazing. 22.12 on the first day of my long session. I don't think I caught a 20 last year, so just brilliant. I'm over the moon with that. It absolutely stormed off. I hope I got most of that on film. Ended up going up to a clearing to my right at first and then all the way back over to my left. Amazing it didn't wipe out my rods, but anyway, I'll get this rig back together, put it back out there, and it's about 5:20 now, so by the time I've done this, might be time to start thinking about tea. Oh, and just to keep you updated, I did refeed the swim. I spommed out 3 mini spoms. So it just goes to show that if things aren't really happening, if like I had, you caught a couple of tench, think maybe I should put a little bit more out, use the smaller one, less disturbance, bang, caught 20 pounder within about an hour and a half of doing it. For tea tonight, treat myself a bit. Got spaghetti bolognese, and not just in a can or whatever, an actual ready meal. And you can actually eat these on the bank. What you've got to do is put them in your pot with just a little bit of extra water to kind of slop them up a bit, and then just boil them for quite a while. And yeah, it's about as close as you get to proper spag bol on the bank, I guess, unless you want to take everything with you. So we'll get that on now. I've got a couple of beers as well. Then we'll redo all the rods, put some extra bait out, settle in for the night. Well, I've ended up waiting quite a while to wind in for a recast. I just wanted the wind to die down a bit, which is a shame because I know a guy got a bite in here around about this time yesterday. But yeah, I'm going to redo my rods, put some bait out over them. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to put out a few small spoms and a few big spoms just to get a bit more of a spread of bait in the area. Since I've got the time here, I might as well get a little bit out there. That's everything recast and sitting pretty. I'm really happy with how it went actually. My 2 open water rods both went in first time, and my left hand rod only took 2 goes. And the spomming actually was, if anything, too accurate on my open water area. I wanted it to be a bit more spread out to kind of intercept some fish, because there have been fish shown in front of me today, some big crashes in the waves. So yeah, I wanted a bit of a spread to stop those fish. But alas, it went how it went, and yeah, I suppose a nice accurate pile with 2 hook baits on it, that'll work as well. Yeah, the guy did get a fish in here last night around about this time, and then 1 early in the morning. So yeah, I'm pretty hopeful. Well, even in the dark, I've nailed a massive tench. Need to get a weight on this, it's huge. Unfortunately, it messed up. Well, actually my other rod messed up the rod I caught it on. It's all tangled up, went to wind it in, and it cut through the line, so I'm down to one rod. I've not cast back out yet. There's the rig just loose in the net. Got to one side, don't lose that. Let's get a weight on this huge tench. £7.14. That's huge. It's one of the biggest ever tench. Hold it up for you guys quickly. We'll put it back because it's freezing out here. Whew. £7.14. I was just nodding off. Brilliant, right, better get my one remaining rod back out. Lovely. Don't be minging when you're on the bank. There's a top tip. Right, good morning. Kettle's on. Gonna make my porridge. I'm sure pouring boiling water on it is the equivalent of microwaving for 2 minutes. Yeah, let's hope so. And yeah, bit of a weird one last night. I caught that massive tench, £7.14. It's got to be one of my biggest ever tench. But I didn't really get to enjoy it in a weird way because it went off, it got wrapped around my other rod, and then I couldn't really net it well. And when I did net it, my other rod was so tangled up in it, when I wound that one in, it actually snapped the line on the rod I caught it on. So then in the night, I just decided to put one rod back out and I sort that snapped one out in the morning, which I did. And then, yeah, nothing else happened through the night, so I got up really early, 4:30, to recast those two messed up rods. So I feel like I did kind of lose the dark hours there, but yeah, I did have one rod in play. To be fair, when I wound it in, it was fine. So I respawned a little bit this morning. Something I'm trying to do on this session is try and feed little and often, just every few hours. You know, like a match angler, but for me it's you know, once in the morning, once at lunchtime, once in the evening, rather than every like 5 minutes. But you know, that's the equivalent of it. So yeah, don't really know what to do. I've just seen a fish jump out to the left, but I've had this on long sessions before where I've ended up chasing my tail a bit, and then I felt like I probably should have just stayed in the original swim. So unless I see a big show going on elsewhere, I'm going to stay here because I've caught from here. There were fish showing here yesterday evening, and it still looks good for a bite. Okay, it's just before lunchtime, kind of late morning, and I'm going to pop home now, fill up my water bottle, have a shower, all that. But before I do, I'm going to put some extra bait in, just so the fish have got some free bait with no lines in the water, kind of like resting the swim. I'm doing it now because I want to get back here to get the rods out for the afternoon and the evening, which seems to be a good time at the moment. Okay, I'm back. That didn't take too long. I am fresh to death. Slappy chop chop, slapper brute, the works. Ladies were crashing their cars as I drove by. Just incredible stuff. But anyway, I'm pretty keen because this is about the time yesterday I caught a fish. So I need to get these rods back out. And I'm going to put new hook links on them. One of the good things about the multi-rig is that you can just keep using the same hook link over and over. But I think this one has just about had it now. But I've only actually swapped them, I think, twice this season. So yeah, brilliant rig to use if you're cheap like me. Might have to cut some line back as well. Okay, fresh everything on. Brilliant, can't fail. Okay, fish just splashed in front of me. This couldn't look any better right now. So rig time, I'll show you what I'm using on this rod, which is my left-hand rod, because it's the same as what I'm using in open water, just a little bit sort of shorter on those rods. And yeah, it's my normal hinge stiff rig that I use a lot. 20-pound boom sectioner of semi-stiff coated braid, little ring swivel, then a doubled over section of chod rig material there. And I like that loop so I can put the hook on and off whenever I like, and the hook bait as well. So I don't need to keep tying up hook links, but also I can change the hook if it gets blunt. And on a lake that's got loads of tension in it, multi-rigs are great for that, because every time you get tension, you can just change the hook without even really worrying about it. You know, I can always check it for sharpness later, and in the moment, just change it and crack on. Yep, lead clip arrangement, because it's very weedy out there in places. Casts well, and that lead can kind of plug into the silt and stuff as well a little bit, and all of this can stay above it. You can tell that hook's sharp, just got me. And then about 12 inches of rig tube in there, just to help prevent tangles, protect the fish's flank, and get that last bit of line really sunk properly. And like I say, on my open water rods, the only thing I'm doing differently is a boom section is shorter, and a popper section is shorter as well, just to keep it closer to the lake bed, because out there's only a little bit of weed, so I don't need it to be really high above it. Whereas on this rod, which is going over near the island, that was another splash. There is some sort of like very fresh weed, really green stuff, so I don't really mind fishing over it, but it's definitely there, so I need that a bit longer and this a bit higher so it sits over it and the fish can see it well. Right, let's get it out there. Good donk on that one as well. Nothing's really happened this afternoon apart from it's absolutely chucked it down. And there were a few fish soaring in front of me, but that seems to have gone away now. But yeah, we're heading into the evening, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Anyway, it's tea time. I've gone for chicken korma, or a chicken custard, as we call them. Yeah, I know it's a bit weak sauce, but when you're alone in a bivvy, you've got to play it safe, if you know what I mean. So yeah, curry and rice. Again, I got a couple of nice beers with me, so that'll be lovely. And then, yeah, probably recast the rods at some point and feed a little bit more bait, but not much, because you know, we've gone nearly 24 hours now without any action. So yeah, I don't think the fish are really hammering it out there now. Okay, we're heading into the evening now, and looking up and down the lake, it's like everyone's doing the same thing. We're all just stood at the front of our bivvies because it's a gorgeous evening. It's been chucking it down for hours as well, so quite nice to be out walking around again. And yeah, for a tench rolling behind my spot. Now, you might think then, well, don't cast now, but I don't really want tench. As much as I love them, I'm here for carp, so now's not a bad time really. If I can maybe move some of those tench away, get my rods back out there, ready for the carp tonight. That's the rods, all redone and went really well. All went out first time apart from my middle rod, which took 2 goes, but brilliant, and the spomming went fantastic. Again, I use a combination of a big and a small spom to create a bit more of a spread. And in fact, on the left hand rod I only put 2 mini spoms right over top of a rig, so I thought that'll do, because yeah, although nothing's happened on that spot, I'm still confident with it because the fish have got to go over that area for going around the island. So yeah, I don't think I need to bait it heavily. It's just a trap really. But yeah, I'm still really buzzing about it. I haven't had a fish for nearly 24 hours now though, but I think something could happen tonight. Anyway, tonight's film for me will be Men in Black International. Haven't seen that one yet. It can't be as good as the originals with Will Smith. I used to love them films. So yeah, we'll see what it's like anyway. But I'm just going to settle in because this is a really nice night. I'm not stuck in my bivvy like yesterday in the wind and rain. Okay, little 2 AM tench here. Give you a quick show as I put it back. That is a little one, only a couple of pounds. Oh, there it goes. Incredibly, I was just coming down here for a recast. Oh wow, you're all fogged up and into the sun. Spin you around. Yeah, nice tench there. I was literally just walking down to my rods to recast, so that's perfect timing. Let's do the recast, and then I'll show you the fish. Oh yeah. $7.13. So 7.14 and a 7.13. That's incredible. Nearly £16 a tench in 2 fish. There we have it. What a bruiser. 7.13. And let me tell you about last night. Incredible thunderstorm, like the worst I've ever fished in. Don't mind admitting, but I was actually pretty scared. It was right above us. In fact, I think lightning came down just over here somewhere, maybe on the other side of the lake. But I just didn't know what to do. I just hunkered down in my bivvy. I thought about running to my car, but then I figured, well, I don't really want to go out in this horrible weather. Surely that's just as dangerous. And yeah, it was incredible. It went on for about an hour. There's still hail on the floor next to my bivvy because it absolutely pelted me. But we got through it. And it was a glorious morning, and I've never wanted the morning to come so much. Nothing much happened fishing wise last night. We got about 2 AM tench. And then this guy, just as I was walking down to my rods to recast. I meant to recast about an hour ago, but after the night we had, I was still asleep. I think I must have slept through my alarm, because I did set one. I remember setting one. You're awesome though, mate. Made up for last night. God, it was terrible. Right, let's get it back. 7.13. Come on. Lovely. Well, that's gone a long way to calming the nerves after last night. With my left hand rod having done nothing for 2 days now, I think we can say I've given it a fair chance. I'm looking at that island, I'm thinking it's going to be a warm sunny day today, the wind trickling against it. Some fish have got to get up there, so I've used Google Maps to get the distance to it. I've clipped up my rod to that range. I'm just going to have a few casts, find out what we're fishing over, and probably put that left hand rod up against the island. Same rig, but this time with a dull pop-up, because in the shallow water I don't want a bright one where the swans and things are just going to see it and dive on it. And yeah, you might be able to see on the island there's a bit of a tree that's collapsed out of it, so I'm fishing kind of just back from there because I know the fish will have to go around that. I've decided that I am going to do a third night. The conditions look really good for a bite, maybe tomorrow morning or through the late part of the night, because the wind's going to change. It's going to go a little bit sort of cloudy and colder. So yeah, I really want to be here for that because I want one more fish. That 22-pounder was brilliant, but that was 2 days ago now, so that's in the past. Let's get another one. I'm going to wind in, put a bit more bait out, go home, get some more bait and some food for me, and then come home. I also need to literally recharge my batteries. Right, just very quickly, I wound in and look at the size of that bloodworm on my hook there. That is brilliant. So yeah, in my opinion, when you're fishing over silty lake beds, there's good silt and there's bad silt, but I think that's good silt if it's got a load of bloodworm in it. Well, I'm back, fresh supplies and everything. Unfortunately, Kevin Costner's here now as well. The rest of the cast hasn't turned up yet, but no doubt they will, and I'll be listening to them all afternoon. But with this sort of weather, hopefully they won't be here long. There are definitely some slicks coming off my bait out there, which, if you don't know what that is, it's when the fish are feeding, they disturb the oil in the food that you've fed. So that rises to the surface and flattens it off a bit. Yeah, it's just going on now, which sort of brings me around to what I'm feeding. And it's my usual mix of pellets, corn and boilies. But you might notice this time there's not as much corn as I'd normally put in. Because I've got some extra time, I don't really need the corn. I often put it in there so it's very visual, it stands out a lot. But I don't need that level of attraction. I'd rather there was just some good food down there that's going to keep them around. So plenty of whole boilies, good helping of pellets as well in there. No tiny pellets. The smallest thing that's in there are some 6mm carp pellets. And then the rest is mainly 8mm halibut pellets with some ellipse pellets as well. So all really good quality feed that I've given a good glug of some spod syrup as well. And really it doesn't matter which one you use, just use whatever you're confident in, as long as it's good quality. Fish will eat it. And what I tend to do is I just mess with the ratios. You know, if I've only got a short amount of time or it's early in the spring, I tend to use a lot of corn so the fish can see it more, so there'll be less boilies, less pellets and more corn. On longer sessions like now, or as you get into sort of late summer, autumn, more food in there, so more pellets and boilies. And yeah, it does seem to work for me. It does get the tench feeding, I'll admit that, but I quite like catching them. And on a lake like this where there are a lot more tench than carp, it's no bad thing to have them rooting around as well. So kettle's on because it's my tea time, and sling pickings at the DanGoesOutdoors headquarters. We're down to instant noodles from Aldi. Best before July 2019, so if I end up watering the plants in the night, I'll only have myself to blame, but I'm sure they'll be fine. They're bone dry, so I don't see what could have gone off in there. Fishing wise, this afternoon, nothing's really happened. I haven't caught anything, I haven't seen anything other than a few slicks coming off my spot. The jet ski, he couldn't get it started properly, so he was just sort of drifting around and giving it the odd bit every now and again, which was, if anything, more annoying than when they're tearing it around. And now the triathlon club has shown up, so they're running around and cycling around. I've heard we couldn't go swimming at the moment because of coronavirus, so we'll see what happens there. I don't like it when they swim from a fishing point of view. It's not that they make a lot of noise. I think that's probably quite scary to the fish, lots of people swimming in the lake, and I've never caught a fish while they've been doing that. Also, had a couple of guys come around spinning for pike, and one of them took delight in telling me how rubbish carp fishing was and what a waste of money all my gear was. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, it's my money, I'll spend it on what I like, so really didn't enjoy that conversation. But yeah, I'll have this, and then it'll probably be time to recast the rods, get them all settled for the night. I'm rather hoping actually, if I do go swimming, what I tend to do when they used to come down, is I'd wait until they were swimming and then I'd do my casting to kind of cover up the noise of what I was doing. So if I do get in the water, that's what I'll do. Okay, last rod going in, and look at that weather coming as well. Every rig, check the hook for sharpness, fresh hook bait. This is as good as I can do it. Right, it's beer time, and it's been a while since I've done a beer review on the channel, and I'm involuntarily laughing already because this time it is my own homebrew. Yes, it's not Lucasade, and it may look like champ's piss. Let's hope it doesn't taste like it. But this is actually my second homebrew. I've already done a batch over Christmas, and that was delicious. We called it Platt's Pride by Hughes Brews. Me and Tom made it together, and actually, if you're interested, I did make a video of the brewing process, so if you want to see it, comment below, and yeah, I'll post it if you guys want to see it. Just have to bear in mind that it's just two mates messing about. Anyway, this is our second one, and it's an American style IPA. We've fruited it since. What I've done is, when we were moving it from the fermentation vessel to the barrel, I bottled some then before I fruited it. So this is the pre-fruit version, and then this weekend hopefully the fruit ones should be ready. And these have been sitting in a bottle for a couple of weeks now. A little bit of sediment at the bottom there, but that's to be expected. Now I can already see some bubbles forming, so I feel like this will have a bit of a fizz. The bottle is firm. Yeah, there's something going on in there. I've been keeping it in a cool bag with an ice block as well, so it should be nice and cold. Right, here we go. You've got to get that sniff straight away. You've got to get the fly past instantly, otherwise it's gone. Ready? I'm nervous. There's fizz. Oh my god. Yes. Yeah. Fruity already. Yep, sweet, fruity. Okay. Got that borderline cidery sort of smell to it. That happened on the last one and the taste was completely different. A little bit cloudy, let's go for it. Cloudier Winkleman. I'm nervous. She's good. She's very good. A lot lighter than I thought, which is brilliant because that means it'll go well with the fruit. Can't stop sniffing it, it's got a lovely smell. That is fantastic. Yeah. Very, very light, quite fruity, a little bit sweeter than my last one, which was a bit more ale-y, if that makes sense, a bit more hoppy. Whereas this one's a bit lighter on the hops, but heavier on the fruitiness. Well, that's brilliant. That's not going to last long. It said it was about 6.5%, which I think we're about there on this. I think the fruit one's going to be a touch more. But yeah, that's fantastic. Right, I'm going to enjoy this. The weather seems to have passed for now. The runners are still going around. They're probably going past thinking, what is he going on about? But yeah, that is a success. Okay, it's just gone 4:30 in the morning, and we've got what I think is our 5th tench of the session. See that? Nice hard fighting male there. As always, thought it was a carp when it ripped off. Off you go, mate. Good morning. Well, it's a couple of hours later, and yeah, not gonna lie, I just went back to bed after that tench. I'm knackered. But I just got done on my middle rod, and I wasn't gonna recast my rods this morning, but since catching that tench and getting done on the middle rod, yeah, I now have had to recast them, which ain't no bad thing. It means that everything's nice and fresh out there. Fresh hook bait, fresh hook, and we're ready to go. The good thing about a multi-rig is you know if a fish got away with it, because the loop on the back pulls tight, and the only way that can happen is if the hook itself is pulled, not the hook bait, and certainly not a liner. But I think that's probably a little tench. It sometimes happens like that because it's just very small indications on the bobbin. Surely if it was a carp it would have been bigger. I mean, there's no real way of telling, but that's my theory anyway. That's what I'm telling myself. Right, whip this one back out, hopefully first time, because I didn't want to cast. I wanted to keep disturbance low this morning, but we'll see. While the sun's out and it looks good for it, let's get this dormant left-hand rod back up against the island just like yesterday. Okay, fish are showing around the back of the island. Got one on it already. Might try for a second one. Probably can't see me or hear me, whatever. Okay, the showing fish has petered out a bit here, and I'm getting absolutely stoked. So what I decided to do is have a bit of a lead around out there. If I can find a spot, I'll fish to it and then walk the rod back to my fishing swim, because this spot's kind of in between two swims. I've just got my noodles preparing there, and this is now officially my longest ever session, which is pretty cool. So the afternoon was a bit of a mad one really, all those fish showing over there, we tried for them, didn't catch, but I've now got a rod over there where they were shown, so that's fantastic. And my two rods just back on the spots that I've been fishing throughout this session. Now just earlier, a fish showed to the right, and Emily and Dean up the bank there have just landed one. So the fish seem to be everywhere at the moment, which is fine by me, because then it means that at least there's a chance there'll be some fish in front of me at some point, being that I'm in quite a central swim here. So yeah, I've rebaited, I've recast, eat my food, and just hope that I finish the session with a carp. Okay, another massive tench. That's a 6 at least, maybe even another 7. It's freezing cold. I don't really want to weigh it. Brilliant. Let's get that rod back out. Awesome. Come off and done me other line. So I'm sat here the last morning of my session. I've seen 5 mornings now at this lake, and yeah, what an incredible week. Now, pretty frustrated, I'm not gonna lie, to have caught a 20 pounder, 22 pounder, which is a big fish for North Yorkshire. To have caught that within hours of getting here, but now to have gone the rest of the week without a carp, yeah. Not gonna lie, a bit frustrated about that, but I actually feel like I fished pretty well. In the time I've been here, as far as I know, only 2 fish have been out. One's been mine and the other one's been only 2 swims to the left. So as far as location goes, I think I'm pretty much there or thereabouts. It's a nice central swim, so it's the kind of area you'd fish if you had time on the lake. And when the fish finally did put on a show, because I've only showed once this week, that was half a swim to my left. So yeah, pretty happy with how that's gone. I think my tactics were you know, good for what I'm doing, for the time we've got. I kept working that central area, and we've caught fish off it steadily. Yeah, they've been tench, but I'm sure every now and again carp have been coming into that area. But on a lake with not many fish, when you've only got 1 or 2 fish coming in at a time every now and again, they're probably not going to take your bait. You know, it's just, I hate to say it, but it's kind of just chance whether or not they take your hook bait, which is one of the reasons I go with high attract hook bait so often. But I have tried dull baits as well. You know, I've given them their fair go a night or two. But the high attract baits have outfished them for the tench anyway. And the carp I did catch was on a bright white one, as well as my last carp I caught here was on a bright white one, so I've been using them a lot as well. Now, this has been my last session of my 20s, and I did say to myself before I came out that I just want a 20 in my 20s, and I suppose that's all I got. Still time yet, might get another one because I'm going to fish the morning out. And not to get too in deep, but I have been a bit stressed about turning 30. You know, it seems like a big number, but I've been talking to a couple of the guys down here, and I can only really speak to you lot in fishing terms. And yeah, it's only really in the last 10 years that I've started to target big fish, not just any fish, like purposely fish for big fish. And yeah, I've been doing pretty well in the last few years. I've been doing a channel, so you've seen what I've caught, and my PB steadily going up for some species. And yeah, I suppose I shouldn't really worry about it because I've got plenty of time to go. If I did all that in the last 10 years, God knows what the next 10, 20, 30 years could hold. I really want more river fish. That's something that I'd love to get. More barbel, more chub. And I still haven't had a 20-pound pike. A bit frustrating to have not caught a 20 in my 20s. I would have loved to have a 20 in my 20s and a 30 in my 30s, but no, I guess it just gives me something to work towards. And I might start fishing some different venues as well next winter for the pike. Yeah, this session has really given me a lot of time to think about my fishing and how I need to maybe get around a little bit more if I want the results that I want. And also with me making the channel, I need to not put so much pressure on one venue at a time. Now I'm quite lucky that this lake is members only, so it's irrelevant what I do and the bailiffs are more than happy for me to do it. But yeah, there we go, that's been my thoughts on this session. I think I got the location right. Glad I caught a fish. Annoyed I haven't caught more, but hey, sounds corny, but that's fishing. So just as I packed things away, left my rods out, otter's just popped up right here. He was heading this way. Unbelievable, absolutely snuck up on me. You know, those really shy nocturnal otter, there he is right there, just staring right at me. You don't care, do you, mate? I'll walk over to you and you just look at me, bob under. But 10 yards out. Look at all these guys here. They've been keeping me company all week. Well, there you go, that's my stuff packed away and time to go home. I've kind of already summarised the session, so we won't go over that again, and let's not dwell on that otter popping up right at the end. Thank God he did it at the end of the session and not halfway through. But anyway, I've still really enjoyed myself. Catching a 22-pounder was fantastic. I've had some big tench as well. You know, 2 nearly 8 pounds, and I think one over 7 pounds, but it was too cold and I was too tired to weigh it. But yeah, since I'm going into a new decade, I'm definitely going to carry on doing the channel. I've really enjoyed doing it, and yeah, thank you to all you guys for subscribing along the way. You know, we've got what, 3,200 and odd, and I never thought I'd get over like 100 or so. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you to you all, and if you fancy subscribing, feel free to do so, and yeah, you'll get my videos straight into your inbox. But for now, I'm gonna go home. Got a weekend of partying planned as much as we can during the old coronavirus. 6 people in my garden, that's all we can have. So yeah, I'll be rotating friends all weekend. Brilliant. But anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time. Look after yourselves.